Welcome to Cartoon Conversations, where your hosts will serenade you with our soothing, comforting voice that will lull puppies into a sense of security and a soft sleep. And other S words that make me feel weird about saying them for too long. How are you doing, Jordan?
Good. I made cookies.
Oh, fantastic. On this night of Hanukkah.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah to all our Jewish viewers, if we have Jewish viewers. I know I am.
I like to think Jeff is Jewish.
Jeff. I'm so glad we've named him.
Yes.
I can't wait until we start giving him like a structured life and story. And then it all falls apart when we stop caring about it.
Oh, Jeff has cancer. It's very sad. We're pretty much the only thing that's keeping him going.
Jordan, that's awful. Oh my god.
It's a joke.
I guess we better keep doing this then, you know?
Yeah. It's from, what's that show I really like, with the musical comedy?
Musical comedy.
She was on Scrubs, one of them. What is it?
Avenue Q.
Garfinkel and...
Oh, Garfield and... something in Oates.
Garfinkel and Oates.
Garfinkel and Oates.
Yeah, they have an imaginary fan who has cancer, and the only thing keeping her going is their shows.
Oh my god. That's a fantastic show.
It is.
Those are two fantastic people.
Yes.
You know, one of them, I think Garfinkel or whatever, the smaller one, does a voice on Steven Universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the like little square girl whose name I can't remember. I think it's like Haley.
Oh, okay.
Or something. She's adorable. I love her.
I will probably watch that episode of Steven Universe now.
Oh, no, she's in a lot of episodes.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, that's another show we should talk about, because that show's fantastically, like, that has a lot of depth to it.
I should give that show another try.
You should.
Maybe sitting next to you.
I own the first season.
Oh.
And I bought that shit so quick.
Okay.
I was like...
So, we should probably talk about Darkheart, which we're breaking our streak of J.M. DeMatteis episodes, which makes me very sad.
Words I don't really know.
J.M. DeMatteis wrote the last two episodes and the second episode. So basically, when they have a thoughtful episode, he's their go-to guy. And I kind of love him now, and want to look up more stuff he did. Let's see, so, Warren Ellis.
What?
I was going to say, so Warren Ellis wrote this episode.
Oh, right.
And he's a somewhat famous comic book guy. He has his own Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
He has
his own Wikipedia entry. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, I believe this is the only episode he writes, though. Because he's a little bit more famous than the regular guy who writes a Justice League Unlimited episode.
You can definitely see I wouldn't say like juxtaposition, but you can compare, this episode with a couple of the ones that were done before and see how different they are. This one is heavily action-based. There's rarely any talking, but when there is, it's actually very well done.
Yeah.
They have some lines that really stick hard.
It's structured, I think you bring up a good point, it's structured a lot more like a comic book rather than a episode of television.
It's not like a sitcom, Characters are actually developing, but at a pace that makes you excited for it,
Yeah.
It takes you for a ride, and it will never let go.
Which I think was a good tone they went for this episode.
Yeah. When fucking the Darkheart is literally going to take over the world and all worlds after it, and I feel like we should have a bit more action instead of talking.
Yeah. It was appropriately dark. But our characters were still allowed to be our characters.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to start our episode. Oh, we have to do the big question of the day.
Oh, yes, right.
So,
all right.
In this... Yes. Oh, you want to do it?
You can... All right, I'll do it. So in this episode, we get one of our other big... Yeah, this is the turning point, I'd say, in this episode, where everything really starts to piece together as to who their main villain is. Where... they talk directly to the American government to try and take down this, alien threat. And they let slip that they have a certain weapon that we'll explain later on to try and stop the alien threat that really ticks off the American government. So they undergo a few decisions of their own in this episode. And were those decisions that the government made, were they appropriate, reasonable, Would you do that if you were in the seat of the American government? We'll talk about that soon.
Cool. So I'm gonna
Roll commercial.
I'm gonna get into our episode breakdown. This was probably gonna be a bit shorter because this episode's a bit heavier on the action.
Yeah, we can only, play by play how many times people shot and punched. I mean, every moment is super cool. I wouldn't skip any moments of this show, this episode, But, it's really hard to say. And then Superman shot lasers again. And then another character shot lasers again.
Yeah, there was a lot of rapid-fire laser eyes in this episode.
And Booster Gold was in there, too!
And Booster Gold was in it. I have an exclamation point next to his name. So,
in my notes, Booster Gold, exclamation point.
It really is. So, open on rock cliffs.
He says nothing, though.
He doesn't say anything. He's uncredited. Yeah. So we open on the rock cliffs. The camera zooms up to find two people climbing up the mountain. The girl complains charmingly that the guy is too cheerful. And we have an interracial couple in 2005.
Oh, yeah, that was really funny. I liked that. How progressive of them.
It really was. In 2005, that wasn't something you saw on television. And when you did, they made a big deal out of it. It's like, aren't we great? We put an interracial couple on television.
Oh, yeah. But this couple didn't seem to last very long. I
thought they had great chemistry.
Oh, yeah, great chemistry, as the boyfriend was proceeded to be eaten, and the girlfriend freaked out for a moment, and then we saw nothing else of her.
Yes. I don't know. I thought that their banter was witty and kind of charming.
Definitely.
I think that they would have had a future.
And she goes, "You are so dumped."
I thought that was good-spirited.
It was cute, yeah.
So, she slips and asks for help. He doesn't. At the top, she finds out why. There's a pulsating hive that has eaten poor Billy Be Dumped. Her screams take us into the credits. Which, this is a very punchy cold open for Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
We don't usually end like that. We don't have the dramatic, we're going to go into the credits, you have to stay here.
It was a lot like a CSI episode or something, how they happen on the dead body or something, or they see the murderer, and then it goes to the intro.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It didn't feel like Justice League Unlimited, and I didn't really like that cold open. No. Although I did like Billy Be Dumped and Mrs. No Name.
I liked Mrs. No Name.
Well, they never bothered to name her.
Well, yeah, I mean, all she had emotion-wise were shock and wow. But I felt like it was a really good intro because it showed the gravity of the situation, where it was like, what the hell is this? What's going on? And then you come back and everyone's in battle mode. Everyone's like, we're going out to find this thing. We're going to stop it. We're going to shoot guns at it. And it's like, holy crap. It starts to build up from there. They were really trying to show you that this was a be-all, end-all situation. And someone died. So, I feel like that was a really good thing that they did.
You might be right. You might have changed my opinion on this, because
of course I'm right.
This isn't a villain like Lex Luthor, who you see Lex Luthor on the screen and you're like, oh, shit got real.
He's about to do something badass. But no, this is a hive mind of aliens and absolute fucking dominance of the world. They're not reasoned with. They eat. They consume.
Yeah. So
and they destroy.
So it might be that we needed this to raise the stakes to get us fearing.
Yeah.
So I think I might have been wrong about this cold open. Thank you, Ellie.
Yeah. I'm glad I shone some light on this subject, Jordan.
So, a satellite tracks the hive we saw in the cold open, and the military helicopters come into the scene and drop off soldiers. They don't, fire any missiles or anything, though. That was kind of weird.
No.
The pulsating hive sends out its spider minions.
Legion of spiders.
Yes, spiders. So,
why did you say that one like you were from Dracula or something?
Because that's what they do in the Nostalgia Critic.
Spiders.
Yes.
Well, what's his name?
The Nostalgia Critic.
No, who's the guy that voices Dracula, or that does Dracula?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
So, the flamethrowers and bullets are ineffective, as the robots devour everything. They go mostly for the helicopters and military hardware, but they're not picky. They will kill a person.
Oh yeah, they completely ignore the gunfire and the flamethrower, and they just start eating away at the helicopter.
Yeah, I actually really like this. I think it was well designed. It was a really well framed scene in light of the future plot they were going with. Basically, it showed you without throwing it in your face.
Right.
And it made watching it a second time really enjoyable. Because I caught those little things that I didn't catch on the first time.
Right.
So I thought it was cool that they went past them to the more, let's say, atom-rich metals. That were a little...
It also really showed, how strong they were as a hive and how threatening, because they couldn't be stopped by man. They didn't care. Like, man was just insignificant to them. All they wanted was their ammo, their weapons and shit. And they were like, we're helpless. We can't do anything, but we can only watch. And that is probably one of the scarier things in when trying to convey a terrifying situation. Like in have you seen or heard of Attack on Titan?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons why they show such a really great, they convey fear so well in that anime/manga is that these giant monsters are just killing them off like their livestock, and there's really like nothing they can do. They talk about how almost helpless they are. They can kill a few of them, and at first, it's like okay, but they just start getting picked off, and the humans just start dying. It's crazy. It's a really helpless and emotional situation that these characters are in. And that's one of the scariest things, when you're absolutely helpless.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. It must really suck to be a soldier in the DC universe. DC has actually come out with a... Sorry?
No, keep going.
DC came out with a comic called Men at War, which is pretty high on my list of stuff I want to read.
Really?
About just regular run-of-the-mill soldiers in the DC universe.
And how they feel about superheroes or how they interact with them?
Exactly, yeah.
That's nice.
I think it'd be a fascinating read just to go into the psychology of someone who's in the armed forces and is just so outclassed by Superman as to be obsolete.
It feels kind of nuts. Although I like how in some comics they do try to make the the regular cop and the regular soldier a bit more they try to make them out to be a bit more than they really are. Or a bit more appreciated. Like, there's one instance, I can't remember, but some cop came up to Batman and Superman, and he was like, it's a good thing we've got two heroes here. And Superman's like, what are you talking about? We have three. And he pats the soldier on his back or something. And it was like a cute little moment. It's like, oh, you piece of shit, Yeah. He was really buttering him up.
I love good-hearted Superman.
Oh, yeah. He's adorable. You could just pinch his cheeks.
Yes, exactly. Except they're super tough. You probably can't move them.
Yeah, it would probably be ridiculous.
So, the commander asks for backup because they're getting slaughtered. Yeah. And the Justice League arrives with, it looks like 20 to 30 heroes.
Oh my god, they are packing heat. They're in an attack formation. Wonder Woman's flying one of the, what is it, the Falcon? What do they call it?
No,
the Javelin, right?
She's flying her invisible jet, I thought.
Oh, I thought she was flying the Javelin.
Oh, you're right. She is flying in the Javelin, because it gets destroyed later.
Yeah. So, it would suck if her invisible jet was destroyed. So she's flying that.
That's probably why she wasn't flying it.
What?
I said that's probably why she isn't flying it.
Oh, yeah, so it wouldn't get destroyed. Still not sure why she has that, but that's a story for another day.
The invisible jet never appears. Oh, wait, no, it does.
What?
The invisible jet appears in the second episode.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. She was flying it into Superman's whole castle.
Yes.
Thing.
So
they're packing heat.
So they're ready to save the world. Also, Booster Gold's there.
Yeah. So we know we're safe.
Exactly. He's coming from your future to protect his past. So, Wonder Woman calls the general, who says the army is evacuating the towns. Batman shoots the hive with an ice bomb, and it gets covered with ice. Wonder Woman asks him why he has an ice bomb just lying around.
Yeah.
And
He's like, long story.
He misses the opportunity to start a meme 5 years early by not saying, because I'm Batman.
Because I'm... What?
You haven't seen that meme?
No, I've never seen that meme.
Like,
because I'm Batman.
You know, like in the...
the Lego movie?
No. Well, the Lego movie is an example of it.
Yeah.
But like the superhero cafe shorts and stuff like that.
Oh, right. The one they do, the How It Should Have Ended.
Yeah, How It Should Have Ended.
I love those guys. They're so funny.
They're like Batman and Superman talk.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time, and Batman always goes, you know why? Because I'm Batman.
Because I'm Batman.
So,
I love this voice, too. It's so weird.
So
regardless of that.
So he actually explains the story of he needed to freeze Gotham River with an ice bomb because of the Joker. Which is a story I want to hear. Like, I want 20-minute flashback. Screw this episode. I want to see Batman freeze Gotham River.
God damn it. I'm sure you could have looked it up somewhere.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. So,
God, Jordan, you're the studious one. I'm the funny and cute one. And cute. Don't forget that. And cute.
Okay. So, Wonder Woman... I want to ask him, and it's just another example of great banter between Wonder Woman and Batman. And another time where Batman is kind of in the traditional women's role in this relationship.
Oh, right.
That normally it's the woman in the relationship, quote unquote, who does the thing, and then everyone is surprised by the competence.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, of course I'm competent.
Would you say that in a way that, because it's really Wonder Woman's going after Batman, you could say, Wonder Woman has the love interest. It kind of makes her, more out to be a main character.
I really think if I had to pick a main character for this first season, I would pick Wonder Woman. That's a great point. Yeah,
she's had so many episodes. We talk about her all the time because I have, slobbering fanboyism over her, but I do so because, she gets a lot of rep. And she has a lot of action in this.
And we talked last episode about how she's shown real character growth.
Yeah.
And...
isn't that crazy?
I know. In a kid show, she's gone through really complicated emotional decisions and come out stronger for it.
Yeah.
She's really showed how she is a hero. And I love how this kind of love interest relationship reflects that it has her as the lead and Batman as the secondary. Whereas the temptation would be to make Batman and Friends or Superman and Friends. I really like watching Wonder Woman and Friends.
That would be a really funny sitcom. She just, breaks through the door and everyone laughs.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
Yeah, and it's Batman in an apron. He still has the entire costume on, but he just has an apron over it.
He goes, honey, I told you. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Use the door.
Yeah. Cue laugh track again.
Yeah, exactly. Then cue the laugh track. So, this would be the most fantastic sitcom ever. Oh, Jeff, if you happen to be an artist... we could use some fan art.
I will throw money at you. Put Batman in an apron.
For the Batman as... Who was Lucy's husband in I Love Lucy?
What's his name? Rico or something?
I think it was Rico, yeah.
Well,
Wonder Woman is Rico and Batman is Lucy.
Let me look that up.
That would be a fantastic picture. Okay. So.
Oh, yeah, no, it was Ricky, not
Ricky.
His name is Enrique Roberto Fernando Ideaca Ricardo III. Ricky Ricardo. His name is long and disturbed.
Yes. So.
Enrique Alberto Fernando Ideaca. Aca, I think. Aca. Maybe it's... whatever. Okay,
so the heroes destroy them as quickly as they can, but they are coming. And they seem to be containing them, but Superman uses his X-ray vision. I love how he has a really smart use of his power there. that he's
What?
like, this is too easy, and he uses his mind.
Oh, right.
This is great Superman. This is so much better than the past couple episodes of Superman. So,
I was honestly expecting more. Like I was expecting a new threat to happen because they were burrowing underground. They were like going after the town, you know, and then they needed a whole new level of support, you know. They needed to go and try and fight again or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
So
They were getting they were getting past them actually. You know, they show a lot of the other a lot of the bugs going off into the new town that, you know, they ate the sign of the town. But it really wasn't expressed as much. But it's a single part of the episode. It's a minor
So
it's a minor meh for me.
I think they could have gone farther to emphasize the threat here that these bugs they have a sort of animal
smart.
intelligence.
Yeah.
The jet is taken, which I think is you're supposed to see the stakes from the javelin being taken.
They just eat it.
And the spiders are reaching the town. Superman calls Martian Manhunter saying he can't get... Sorry, the General calls Martian Manhunter saying he can't get everyone out in time. Martian Manhunter, though, has a plan. He's going to use the tower to create a crater so they can't get past. The General is seriously disturbed by this.
Well,
and
the choice of words that Martian Manhunter used, I feel like a lot of this crisis could have been averted if he didn't call it, saying that it had as much punch as a small nuclear blast.
Yeah.
He used the words nuclear, and that's such a no-no.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is when having an American up there would have been wise, instead of having a Martian.
Yeah. He would have understood a bit more of the taboo. I also like how when the blast actually comes down, everyone averts their eyes except for Superman. He's just looking at it like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I imagine bright light doesn't hurt his eyes as much.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
But like, so, you know, this moment right here.
I want to talk... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, this moment is one of the biggest moments in this story. This is one of the most compelling or, you know, driving plot points. And the fact that they have this massive cannon up in the sky pointed at Earth.
Yeah?
It is constantly pointed at Earth. And this is what drives, you know, the point. This is what drives home the fact that there are these superheroes up in space, and they have so much power. What do we do about that? And this is where the government starts to, you know, question that shit. Not even just with Amanda Waller, because, you know, they were questioning it for a while, and trying to make their own way. You know, they were trying to get their own heroes, get their own power, but the military now sees them as such a threat.
Yeah, I think this is a real turning point in the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
Because before this episode, when Wonder Woman first calls the General, and then when Martian Manhunter is talking to the General, there's some warmth there. In the way they're talking, there's warmth and there's trust. And that really stood out to me.
Yeah, they were bantering like they were some kind of, you know, some rivals. But
they had a friendship, I feel. And there was still something there.
I don't know. Wait, crap, what does my friend call it? I think it's like the Night of Cerberus, or the Dirge of Cerberus, or something. But it's the turning point where a show becomes darker to show that, you know, everything can become a little bit more important, or it adds onto the story and the plot of the show or the comic or the story itself. This is the turning point. You know, this is one of the end-all, be-all episodes where not just Earth, not just humans, but everything is being threatened right here.
Yeah.
You know, these robots, they explained, will go off, will take over everything, they'll reproduce, and then they'll shoot off into space and do it all over again. And they've explained the importance of this so heavily that this is scary, you know? If the Justice League doesn't stop this now, everything could be lost. Like the flood from Halo could happen, pretty much.
Yeah. This is a
the
pretty
turning
serious threat.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Everything does sound like it's going to shit.
Yeah. So the general is seriously disturbed by this,
Yeah.
and we get this crux in the series. He seems to have had a close relationship before it. With Martian Manhunter's plan, he makes trench, he fires it, and it's really disturbing. I love how the show sticks with it. It shows the watchtower getting ready to fire. It shows the organization that it requires. It shows it burrowing into the ground with their laser.
Yep. Their massive laser death cannon.
So...
It's all going to hell.
Yeah. So... This is supposed to disturb you. This is supposed to say, why do they have that?
Well, it's not, you don't get disturbed. The watcher, the viewer doesn't get disturbed because you know they're good guys. You know the superheroes have it for a reason. You familiarize with it because you're like, you're never going to see Superman use that on people. Of course not. He's Superman, That's what you're supposed to think because we've been with these characters for so long. We haven't been with the government nearly as much, but we'll see that later on, remember? Wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
So,
whatever the hell that meant.
But I don't know, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my fucking god, this is terrifying. The first time I watched it, I was with you. I was like, okay, Justice League have this is fine. This is something that you have when you're a Justice League.
Yeah!
And then the second time, this time I was watching it, probably the third or fourth, to be honest. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they have this. No, this is not okay.
I feel like it's explainable in the fact that, it has a small nuclear punch, and it takes them an hour to get ready. Again, to even do anything, They're completely shut down after that. So, in that time, you can amass some kind of, counterattack against them and pop them out of the sky.
Yeah.
In this era of science and technology for these people in this cartoon, they probably have some kind of surface to space missile or something. I don't know.
I'm not so sure they do. The military is really concerned about a space-based weapon.
I mean, they're concerned about a space-based weapon in the hands of people that they can't control.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the real thing. They create superheroes. They shoot laser cannons from basic soldiers. They have serums that turn people into monsters. I feel like they can create weapons to fight them up there. But if they do now... if they so quickly and openly combat against superheroes that are trying to save the day, you'll get a lot of the people to come against you.
I think
a lot of basic civilians will fight you.
I know in our world, we have very strict treaties against weapons in space.
Yeah.
And I imagine they have the same thing in that world. Putting weapons in space and Antarctica and things like that just leads to very bad consequences, and I imagine that there are still rival nations in this world, and they've all pretty much agreed to let that be fallow.
I don't know. You had a nation walking around with a giant flaming death robot, and nothing was to explain over there. They were allowed to keep that one. Or, well, the remains, as it was blown to shit.
Yeah, I can't believe we've never addressed that giant monster there.
What do you mean haven't addressed? I talk about it all the time, how fucking cool it looked.
No, not we, me and you. I mean, in this show, how have we not addressed that awesome thing?
Well, characters don't usually, if they're like a one thing kind of getting blown up, they usually don't get talked about much.
I know, but that was such a good villain.
It was a super cool villain.
I wish we'd come back to it. Oh, well. So. Let's see.
Kind of looks like Hellspawn.
Yeah.
Because Hellspawn looks like Dormammu. But, it was just like the flaming skull head. It was super cool.
Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about there is there's still only one watchtower now. We were up to 8 at one point.
I feel like that's because it wasn't in view. they didn't want to show the others at the moment, or they forgot about them.
Yeah.
Remember, it is a different writer, so
Yeah. It
the
is a
others
different-
might have purposefully put it in. While in this one, the fact that they had a giant laser cannon was enough.
Yeah. I think it would have been
would've been
cool
enough.
if, like, all of the watchtowers had to, like, work together to fire the laser or something. Like, the Death Star.
Oh,
The
right.
3 beams come together, and that makes the beam that can destroy the planet. Like, they all shoot beams together, and that's how they aim, or something like that. I don't know. I'm still gonna go with my Wayne Corp stock went down, and they had to sell some of them. So, everything stops after the trench. We see these robots as kind of animalistic. They're a bit scared, so they stop. Martian Manhunter's alone up there with no power, but Superman uses his X-ray vision to look inside, and he sees that it's a self-replicating machine, which means that Batman knows what to do. He calls for the Atom. So, we now cut to the Atom in his laboratory, while he banters with his assistant in the micro world. He's fighting a malfunctioning micro-robotic worm. He destroys it, but there's no rest for the weary because Superman is here.
I love what he says when he lies down, or he gets like blown up for a second, then just like kind of falls down. And it was literally like, "What's wrong?" He goes, "I'm old, so I'm going to lay here for a little while."
Yeah, being a superhero is clearly not his first choice. He's definitely scientist first, superhero distant second. But at the same time, he's going to do what's right.
You are cutting out there, my friend.
What do you say?
Okay.
So that gives him this delightful wittiness.
I'm sure it does.
But it also gives him the ability to be serious when Superman says Omega level threat, and he cancels his plans. Just like that.
He tells his assistant to go and tell the other people that it's going to be busy.
Yep. So, while they're flying there, the Atom theorizes with Superman about how it's self-replicating robots to colonize the universe.
While sitting in his ear.
Yeah, he's sitting in his ear. So, they'd be unstoppable. Each one creates 10 more ad infinitum, and that would consume everything in the planet.
Yep.
They can also turn atoms into whatever they want.
Which is terrifying.
It lets you know that this threat is terrifying. But since it's a guess by the Atom, we don't have to stick to everything. Like, for instance, he says each one is programmed to create 10 more. Right. Turns out there's a central core. You know, so that I thought this was a good device for explaining things.
Yeah. Seeing that each one had its own individual core, individual brain that was expressing their own objectives. Each one had its own little code, but that code was being produced and given directions by the one dark heart.
Yep.
The big one, the big bad one, being shown inside that massive pulsating organ thing on the mesa.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, as Superman gets back, the spiders have crossed the trench.
The Spider-Mans.
Yes.
Hey, J.K. Simmons was in here.
What do you say?
J.K. Simmons was in here. he was the general.
Really?
We need to talk about that laser, but first I want pictures on Spider-Man.
Yes. I thought I recognized that voice.
Oh, he's so good. I really wish they gave him more to say, but, you know.
He did a very good job voice acting the General. The General is really excellently voice acted. So. So there are too many. Batman is flying around, shooting things out of his plane until he runs out of ammo. He takes a pass too close to the pulsating hive, and robo-tigers destroy his bat plane. But so he's forced to eject. And he gives the best line of the episode. So he's falling through midair, just like falling.
Yeah!
Totally calm about it. And he says, "Batman to all points. I could use some air support. Because I can't fly. At all."
I love it.
Now would be good.
It was so funny. Oh my god.
And then when he finishes "now would be good," Superman saves him about a foot off the ground. And he's just as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, no, he just doesn't even... He's like, yeah, that was pretty much going to happen. Yeah, whatever.
Like, thanks, now let's plan. So, the spiders are overwhelming them, and they can't get close to the hive because of the attack tigers. He asks where the Atom is, and the Atom reveals himself. They go to Wonder Woman, and now we have the DC Trinity. And I love this scene. I love how we have this command structure of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Right.
And they brought in their specialist, the Atom. I thought that was fantastic, and this is where Warren Ellis really shines.
He's standing there among the gods.
He is a little bit. That these are the gods of the DC universe. And this is where his understanding and great feel for the DC universe really show. That he might not be such a Justice League Unlimited writer, but he knows DC. And he's doing a fantastic job with these characters.
Yes, he is.
So, the Atom is fascinated, almost to distraction about it. And the Atom explains again how they work to Wonder Woman and Batman. They make a plan. The Atom is going to go in and disable it on a microscopic level. They form teams. Wonder Woman and Superman lead a team to get the Atom to the Dark Heart, while Batman forms a line in the sand to protect people with the remaining heroes. The Sky Team is being stopped by the Robo-Tigers, so Batman marshals several heroes to go relieve them, which was a great sort of military moment, another time where we've been seeing this theme throughout, that the League is becoming more and more militarized. Like, Supergirl lays suppressing fire and whatnot.
Well, they have strategy and they all understand their job. I feel like it's not just militarization, it's, community. It's, they're all going at it hard because they know the world is going to end.
Yep. So,
maybe, I guess you could say, yeah, it seems very soldier-like. They all pick their spot, they all understand they're working together.
Yeah. So, and they're fighting some more. And we have our first useful gun alert of the whole series. 10 episodes in.
Useful what?
Useful gun alert.
Oh, what's his name?
Vigilante.
The red guy. Huh?
Uses a 6-shooter, which is more effective than the modern weapons that...
Oh, yeah, no, that too. Yeah.
That the army has.
They were fighting like... They were machine gunning those things and nothing was happening.
But his 6-shooters work. So, Vigilante's awesome, and he rides on a flying horse with Shining Knight, which is also totally awesome.
Who is the one guy that was dropped in with Wonder Woman? She had this, like... He was holding a machine gun, and he had, like, a bunch of guns, too, but he had...
The girl with... it was like Cosmic Girl, wasn't it?
Not just her. Well, no. It was a dude, and he looked like the Question, sort of. He had a red cape.
That's he was the first masked hero. He was in an earlier episode in this little piggy. He's
right. Yeah,
like the Red Phantom or something like that.
Yeah.
He was the first masked hero.
Yeah.
So, let's see. The Atom. Sorry.
How dare
you. They go to fight. Wonder Woman has to put her modesty aside and use both hands to fight. So she releases the Atom into her bosom and manages to successfully bring him to the Dark Heart.
Nice. Bosom. I like it.
This tells us two things. That the Atom just runs straight to the Dark Heart.
That you said the word bosom?
What?
It tells us that you said the word bosom.
Yes. No, but I mean that Adam can run. The Adam can run just straight to the Dark Heart.
Ah, yes.
So
I
the
did
alien
enjoy
race
the
that
fact
created
you said
these
the word bosom.
created this tech never figured out how to make people smaller. Even though they figured out how to rearrange atoms, they never figured out how to make people smaller, which I think is kind of interesting. It shows really what a genius the Atom is, that he figured out something that this super intelligent race didn't.
Right.
And two, it tells us that the hive doesn't really have an intelligence of its own. It's more of an animal intelligence. Because it doesn't try and communicate with him. It's more like a giant computer.
Yeah, and he realizes it was... at this point, he understands that it was a war machine.
Yes. So
he learns its secrets.
So, the Atom is fascinated, but Batman cuts him off. He basically boots up the computer, and we learn that it is a war machine. Alien races deposit them on a planet, and everyone dies. It shows us how it will literally eat a planet. Like, the planet disappears. So, this is terrifying. Does a really good job doing that. Then, it just keeps going because it doesn't know the war is over. At this point, some tentacles, a very, very crude, ineffective defense mechanism attack the Atom. But it's rudimentary, so it doesn't really matter. The Atom goes into the heart and attempts to smash the core control, but it's too well constructed. He can't destroy it.
All while, in the background, let's not forget the fact that, the Justice League is still... We keep getting shots of the Justice League fighting off these, this massive threat. The wave of spiders, the dog bots, and then even more come out as the giant mech spiders start fighting everyone as well. And the Justice League are not really doing so hot at the moment, you know?
They're starting to lose. They're being overwhelmed. They're getting tired and they're making mistakes.
The danger of the situation is at its all-time high, the peak, pretty much, and everyone is gripping their seats in hot determination. They're freaking out,
Yeah.
Can they win? Can the Justice League actually make through,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so what I also really like about the scene with the Atom is that it's a mirror of the first scene with him, where he's fighting the robot and he's like, oh, I can fix this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm just going to destroy it. So this one, he tries to destroy it. It doesn't work. Which is just the opposite of what he tried to do last time.
And he's like, think, brain, think. You can do it.
He thinks he gets bigger, and he tries to smash again. It's still ineffective. But here he's kind of learned from the first time we saw him.
This is true.
And he's figured out that there might be a better way. He uses his human intelligence, and he clogs an artery.
Human intelligence. Use that big old brain of his.
He holds it, and just when the heroes are at their most desperate.
Oh yeah, he holds it and the thing is building up. It's starting to squirm. You can see the Dark Heart is shaking violently, so you know it's working. And he's clutching it tight. It's like, come on. Everyone outside is in there, the most dire of situations right now. Wonder Woman is being pinned down by the massive spider tank. Everyone's being swarmed by the tiny spiders. It's at, this right now is the most dangerous point for the Justice League. The music is screaming. And then the Dark Heart erupts. It explodes in a massive, what even was that? The huge wave of purple Kool-Aid, pretty much.
Yeah. And out of that Kool-Aid comes the Atom.
Out of that Kool-Aid? Well, first the whole thing explodes and everyone's like, oh, we did it, Yeah.
And all the spiders stop because they had a central intelligence, I guess. And this episode only has so many minutes, so they all stopped.
Hooray.
Yes. So, I love how the Atom comes out and just goes, that was disgusting.
Yeah, they managed to pick him up back from, he gets shot out in a little puddle of, purple stuff. Oh, a little puddle of Ivan ooze in the corner.
So, the military lifts the hive away. Superman offers to take care of it, but the general says they'll learn a lot from it. After all, it nearly beat the League. And this is
something
where
that
it gets
nearly beat
icy.
the Justice League.
Whereas there
Jeez.
was a lot of warmth and camaraderie before, not so much now.
Oh, yeah. Ever since Martian Manhunter pretty much said the trigger word, the General has a new... he's looking at them in a different way.
Yeah, so the General is icy now. What warmth there was is gone. And
In his heart.
it's really what solidifies this as a key episode of the whole series. So, Wonder Woman asks why they would need something to defeat the League. It's kind of strange here, though, because they're playing this scene like they've always been kind of enemies. Whereas previously there was a lot of warmth. So I don't know if we weren't supposed to read this warmth in and it was just great voice acting.
I feel like what they had instead of warmth was an understanding, you know? They knew that this threat was bigger than all of them, so they needed to work together. The General might have been a bit more begrudging of it, but you can clearly see that he understood the situation and that he needed to do this. You know, this was he needed to collaborate with the Justice League.
I think
there might have been warmth in respect and understanding that, you know, these people would help them, these people would get them out of the situation. He might not have been so quick to get on Amanda Waller's side, but as we see later on that they have a bit of a connection, you know?
Yeah. But I think that you're right. That's what they were going for. But what I saw this episode as they were genuinely close. Like, these were people who I could see saying, "Oh, how are your kids doing?" And I don't.
How are your kids, indeed?
I thought this was when I first saw this scene, I was like, "Wait, what?" But they were close before. This doesn't make any sense. Why are they suddenly so angry?
Oh, no. That was the turning point, man. They understood.
Yeah.
They understood that the Justice League might have been the bigger threat. You know, this weapon was supposed to take over worlds, and the Justice League beat it.
Yeah.
You know? Now, who's the bigger threat right now?
He's also...
The Justice League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also
They don't
angry.
control the Justice League. They're scared.
Yeah, the General's also angry because of the space-based weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah,
So,
he even calls it a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. Which was a especially powerful word in 2005 when this came out.
Right.
Oh, sorry, 2004 when this came out, even more so, because we had just invaded Iraq. I might be mixing up my history, but I believe we were just a couple months away from finding out that there were, in fact, we had just found out there were no WMDs in Iraq.
Right.
So, that word WMD had a lot of connotations. Then I love how they just invoked that powerful modern word there. So, he then leaves, calling Wonder Woman ma'am.
Yeah.
And I like to think that he had just a touch of remaining warmth for the Justice League in that.
I feel like that's respect and his upbringing, which, you know, his militaristic notion. He still has to be that general. He still has to show himself, you know, being strong as body. He shows respect because he has to.
I thought this was the dying ember of his warmth towards the Justice League. That it was like, in memory of the past good you have done, I'm going to part with you on relatively good terms here, but from now on, we're enemies. That you crossed the line here, and I can't forgive you.
Yeah.
That's what I read into that scene.
Yeah. So, but then, would you agree with him?
Would I agree with him? Yes.
And
I think the General's right up to this point. The Justice League is the bad guy here.
To zoom into the question.
Yeah, good. The Justice League is the bad guy here. They do not need a space-based weapon. And space-based weapons are terrifying. Because no one is safe from one. That you can create a missile defense shield. You can create the Iron Dome in Israel, the Patriot batteries in the United States. You can create these things for land-based weapons. But you are never safe from a space-based weapon. And that is terrifying. And that is not okay.
Yeah,
for the
they show a
Justice
bit of
League to
something
make
like that in Call of Duty, actually. There was a space-based weapon that it didn't even shoot like missiles or anything or lasers. It shot like metal beams. But the amount of force that they hit the Earth with was terrifying. They actually did a thing on, I can't remember what it was. It's like the game theory. Have you ever seen those game theorists? The guy goes like, well, that's theory. Just a theory. What?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He talks about how that's a very real thing that can happen. And it was just freaking terrifying. Just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was... That's why space-based weapons are not allowed to be.
Are not allowed to be.
Well, we have treaties in this world.
Dragon is not yet.
In the real world, we have treaties against them because they...
Suck.
Once you escalate into space, only bad things happen.
Space.
So the general leaves, and the Atom says, "What is to stop the weapon from getting to another country?" Superman says, "We are." We zoom out, and we see the 36 heroes who fought for...
Oh, come on, Jordan. Give a little more emphasis, a little more oomph.
And they take an extra couple seconds to be silent and standing there heroically. I'm going to make it the opening shot you see.
What's to stop them from doing it all over again? What's to stop the American government from tinkering too much with these, alien threat, with this, crazy danger? And Superman looks to him and goes, "We are." And then it pans out and shows the giant group of the Justice League. Come on, where's your poetic soul there, Jordan?
Yeah, you're right. And this is the biggest shot we had left because we only had 30 in the first episode.
Which is surprising.
Yes.
But still.
So, we have 36 now, and I even recognized over 2/3 of them. So, we leave it hanging for a second. And this is just another time where this show loves to just leave us hanging on a shot for an extra second, and it makes it so much more powerful, and it's one of my favorite things of the cinematography of this show. About how they just let things sit and stew and just be beautiful.
Yeah, stew and cook and bake.
Yes. So, what do you think of the government in this, Elliot?
I agree with their amount of kind of fear. I agree with his tone, though, where it was like, we need to talk about this. Like, this is not something that is okay. This is not something that we're comfortable with you having. I feel like the next steps that they're inevitably going to be taking are a bit more extreme, and they should have talked about it more first. But I feel like right now, what they did so far was okay. Maybe not taking the alien thing. I feel like that should have been blown up immediately.
Well, there was some worry they mentioned earlier in the episode about how that might spread it.
Well,
I thought the government taking it was very reasonable.
I mean, like, after they disarmed it, they should have blown it up. They should have, like, eradicated it. They should have set it all on fire. That's what I mean. They should have gotten rid of it.
This might be a thing you drop into Marina's Trench.
What is Marina's Trench?
It's the deepest. It's the deepest point of the ocean in the whole world. It's very deep. Or shoot it into space or something. Preferably towards the sun.
I don't feel like shooting it into space in the place where it came from would be a good idea.
Well, space is pretty empty. Unless it's aiming for something, it's probably never going to hit anything.
I don't know.
Well, okay,
mean,
real world space, but this is the DC universe. You're
Yeah,
right.
this is DC Universe space where there are quite a few things that exist in that, area.
Yeah, no, you're probably right on that one. So, the so let's see. I agree with you. I think at this point the government is still the good guys here, which is weird because they're not our title characters. But that's kind of what makes the show great. That the good guys are going a little too far. That their intentions are pure, but they don't even realize they've gone too far. And it takes some outside force to make them realize it.
Ah.
And I really like that.
I agree. I understand.
So, where do you want to put this on our list of every Justice League Unlimited episode?
Every single one ever. I really liked this episode. It did a really good job of a turning point. I felt like it could have had a bit more of an impact. It really had a lot of emotion, but it felt kind of quick. It was a quick, nice episode. I really didn't have anything to complain about it. So I would put it pretty high up. I would say I'd put it at number 4.
Number 4. So, below Initiation and above This Little Piggy. Okay, that's a good place for it, I think.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'd put it at number 5. Because
Okay.
I think This Little Piggy deserves a bit more than this one.
This Little Piggy is a great episode.
I fucking love This Little Piggy. I watch scenes from that episode like as alone. On their own, there is a fantastic episode.
That was a really good episode.
It's good. I liked it.
I really like this episode too. I think there was just a little bit too much action, which is not something I usually say. But my notes for this were only 4 pages long. They're usually as much as 8. Because just a lot of it was, and they punched stuff.
Yeah.
And Superman shot lasers from his eyes.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I'm glad we had this episode. And we need episodes where Superman shoots lasers from his eyes.
Yeah.
Because this is that type of show.
Yeah.
But I still love Fearful Symmetry. Oh my god, that fight between Power Girl and Supergirl was so good in Fearful Symmetry. So I'm going to have to put it below that
Enjoy it that much.
and above The Man Who Is Everything. So,
Excuse me.
that's where I'm going to put it. Great episode, though. Really sets up the whole season and plot. It really is higher than that, even though I also put it as number 5.
Looks like we have agreed on something.
Yes. And we still haven't hit a bad episode. Like, I keep waiting to hit a bad episode, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know.
Really? Huh.
And
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's the reason why we're doing this because we really can't find a bad episode.
yeah, I'm looking at the next 3 episodes of this season. I'm gonna love all 3 of these.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about before. When we have this huge block, I mean, even the next one is just as much, action in that one.
Yeah, the next
But-
one's gonna be fantastic.
It's also so emotional.
Yeah, and
Even
it's
the
gonna.
episodes that I didn't really like, I still enjoyed.